looking very carefully at the situation. Obviously a major malfunction.
Your love is bright. Hey guys, this is Missy C back again for another short tutorial. Today I'm going to show you brows, my way of doing brows. As you can see, I really don't have a lot of brows. All I have to do is kind of clean up down here, which also really doesn't grow that much. So I like to create brows. I'm going to show you two different ways to create brows today. Now, I'm missing one of my pencils. I like to use MAC brow pencils. This one is Strut, and my favorite is Spiked. Now, I use the Strut really on the inside of the eye here because it's a lighter shade, and then I use my Spiked along here, the outer part of the brow. Today I'm going to show you two different techniques. I'm going to show you one on the right eye with the MAC spiked, or excuse me, not spiked, but Strut pencil, how to use the pencil. And then on the second eye, the left eye, I'm going to show you using the Anastasia brow kit. I got this from Sephora, pretty reasonable, but it comes with your little guide, and it comes with two brow shades, and it comes with a highlight shade. It comes with the darker shade for darker brows, which is the one that I use mostly, and then it comes with this lighter shade for blonder brows, and it also comes with this wax to put on the brow. Now, when I use the Anastasia, the powder, I do use the wax, but when I'm using the pencil, I do not use wax to hold the color on. So I will start with the right eye using the Strut pencil. I'm going to use the Strut pencil on the whole brow. And when you're using a pencil, you want to do short strokes. You want to do short strokes because you want this hard line on your brow. I hate to see women with a hard line where they've taken a pencil and just done like this. That does not look natural. If you're looking for a natural looking brow, you want to do short hair-like strokes. Okay, so I have like these short hair-like strokes. Now, as you can see, it's cornered off right here, and it looks really, really sharp. I'm not going to leave it like that. It's going to get blended out. Because when you're looking at natural brows, even people who have the most beautiful, fullest brows, it's never just a really hard line right there. So that's another thing I hate to see women do, is have like these perfect cornered, sharp lined brows. Perfect cornered, fine. I'm a symmetrical person. I love things to be even, as symmetrical as possible. Nobody's brows, even your natural brow, is symmetrical. You're either making them that way by waxing or by filling them in. Okay, and you're also going to go back with concealer and correct. So that is the first part, filling in the brow. Now I'm going to do the same thing, filling in on the other side, but again, I'm going to use the Anastasia kit, the powder, the brow kit. And the first thing I'm going to do is just put a dab of this wax on the brow because I want the powder to stay. So, and I'm using an angled, an angled brow brush. So I just went over the brow with the wax. And now I'm going to take the powder and I'm going to use the, darker color here. The kit also came with these nice little stencils for you to use of different brows. You've got your slim, high arch, you've got medium arch, you got petite arch, and these are for people who need help when putting on their brows. If you just can't get it right, these are a lifesaver. I've been doing my brows for quite a while, so I never have and don't need to use stencils. I'm just take my brush and dip it into this darker color again here, which is, I don't know what the name of that color is, but this is the brunette kit. So now I do the powder a little bit different than I do with the pencil. Okay, so with the powder, I'm gonna line the bottom, and you're saying, oh, you did exactly what you just said not to do. You're putting a hard line. I am putting a hard line, but I am going to trace the brow with this and then blend it out. So that hard line is not going to be visible. So then I just start shading up. And I shade from that hard line so that it's not that dark hard line. And as you can see, I haven't put my brush back into the powder. I'm using what's already there, what's already on the palette. Okay, and now I'm going to go back in, and there's a couple of lighter areas where I didn't have enough powder or shadow on the brush. So I'm going to just go back in, dip just a tad, not a lot, and fill in. And again, I'm going to clean up what's messed up. Okay, so, and I like to brush over. I use the pencil to make sure it still gives you that hair-like, soft hair-like effect. So as you can see, they're still very uneven, not all that symmetrical, which I don't like, but we're working on them. And as you can see, they're two different colors. That's because, again, I use the strut pencil on this side, and I use the Anastasia brow powder on this side. Now, again, I do like the spike pencil mixed with the strut pencil. And I mix the two because my hair color is that darkish brown. So either side you look at, this goes with my lighter hair tones. This goes with the darker tones in my hair. Either way, I could do either brow. I prefer a darker brow, even though this side matches my hair color. I really prefer to mix the two, strut and spiked. So now to complete the look, I need to go in and with my concealer and clean up. And the concealer I like to use is the NC42 Cream Base MAC. Can't see on the back, but it's NC42. And I take a concealer brush, a kind of angled concealer brush. This I use mostly on my eyes. And I like this brush because it's angled, so it helps me get into those crevices to make that arch. So since I don't have a lot of brows, I don't have that natural arch, I've created the brow. So now since I've created the brow, I'm going to go in, clean it up, give it that highlight here. And this is great for people who, like me, don't have a lot of brows, or for you to become a magic makeup artist and you have a client that has not had their brows done. This concealer works wonders. It makes you look like you have the perfect brow job without getting your brows done. So as you see, I went in under and I just kind of sweeped it along the brow and got bigger because I want more of this highlighted. And I kept my line really thin there. And I kind of smoothed it out. Okay. So you can see the difference in the two. This is the side with the concealer, the side without the concealer. I'm going to do the same thing to the top. I'm just going to go in very lightly and trace the top of the brow. And I'm going to pull that concealer up. I don't want to leave it in that super hard line. I'm going to pull it up. And when I put the rest of my makeup on, it will blend in really nicely with the contouring and the highlighting. Okay, so as you can see, I've highlighted underneath the brow and the top. So you can see the difference in both sides. As you can see, I've got that nice arch here, that clean look over the whole brow. Now, I know you are probably wondering, well, what is she going to do to the corner of the brow? I'm going to take my concealer brush and I'm going to take my concealer brush and brush it out. So this is my concealer brush. It's the MAC 252. Yeah, 252. And I just take this and go right in there and pull the brow out some, which softens it. And then I kind of cleaned it up. So now I don't have that hard line and it kind of fades. It fades out. Like your hair. Like your hair is really thin at the front of the brow and gets thicker. So there's my completed Strut Pencil Brow by MAC. On the other side is the Anastasia, and I'm going to complete that now. Again, I'm still going to use my NC42 concealer to go in and clean up under the brow. Now, some people do this and they like that really hard lined look. If that's what you want as a makeup artist, that's what I'm going to give you. For me personally, I don't like that hard. I want to keep it as natural as possible. Even when I'm doing bold and crazy eyes, I want to keep my brow still looking as natural as possible. It's kind of a pictorial look, I personally think. That hard conceal. So, again, I just put a little concealer on the brush and I'm going to go in underneath and line that up. Okay, so I've gone under with the concealer. Okay, I'm going to do the top. And again, I'm going to pull that concealer away from the brow. Okay. And instead of taking the concealer brush and doing the corner of this brow, because I use the brow brush, I've kind of already blended it out. I'm going to blend it out just a little bit more. Okay. So, and just take my fingers and go under where I place the concealer to kind of smooth it. And again, once you finish your makeup, and you don't have to conceal your brows. I like to because I like to give it that very clean look. But as you can see, I've used two different products, MAC and Anastasia. Again, this is the Anastasia Brow, Powder Brow, Shadow Brow. And this is the Strut Pencil Brow on this side. So two different colors, but still very well done, I like to think. Use that technique and you too can have wonderful brows. Thank you for tuning in to Missy C.